Hello, hello, hello. Let's see, are we live? All right, says we're live. Oh my God, let's see. Are we on time? It's 10:02. Close, close, close. For Erica, that's great. All right. So, oh wait, I have to hold on. Make sure it's live in the other one. It's like a whole process you have to go through. How many of you, give me drop something down below. How many of you are going live? How many of you are going live? And if you're doing it on your Facebook groups or anything like that. Let's see. Let me just make sure that I can see me here, because what I'm looking at on my stream, I don't see anything. Okay. All right. Let me pull up my thing. We're getting ready to rock and roll. Hold please, hold please. So today, just to share, today, just to share, I was listening, or I was on LinkedIn. How many of you guys hang out on LinkedIn? Drop down below. If you're not already connected with me, connect with me on LinkedIn. It's kind of I like to hang out there. Anyway, I was hanging out on LinkedIn this morning, and one of the things, one of the posts that I saw that was really good, they were talking about how most people are concerned with time, energy, and money. And, when you're really young, you've got plenty of time and plenty of energy, but no money. And then, middle of the road, 40s, 50s, you've got maybe energy and time, but no money, energy and money, but no time. Right. That's when you're worried about the kids and maybe your parents, and, it goes on and on and on. So hold on, ignore that. Anyway, so we added an element to it, and that was attention. And I think that is so, so, so important in so many ways. And he didn't mean grabbing people's attention. He meant deciding where you're going to spend that attention. And I thought about it for a second, and it's powerful, because we can spin all day long. How many times have you been very productive, very busy, I should say, very busy, working, and you've spent a lot of time, you've spent a lot of energy, maybe even money, and you've gotten nothing done, right? So figuring out where your attention needs to be is so important. And as we go into this fourth quarter, I think this is one of the things we really need to start thinking about. Where do we really want to spend our attention? Where are we really going to focus our efforts and our energy and everything else? And I will be honest with you, we avoid a lot of the stuff that we need to be doing, right? How many of you can say that? Probably, yeah, you probably do avoid some of the things that you need to be doing. So hold on a minute. Did you hear my double thing here? Anyway, so I think it's worth taking the time to figure out where you really need to spend the time, the energy, the money, and figuring out where your attention needs to go. And if you are, we all go through phases in life, right? So if you know that your phase in life right now has to be spending a lot of time taking care of your aging parents, or, maybe you're younger and it's kids, or you just had a baby, right? Give yourself grace, give yourself understanding that this is a season that you're going through, and that is where your attention needs to be. Don't beat yourself up over not growing your business as much as so-and-so. That's not so-and-so's focus, right? So where do you need your focus to be, your attention, and what is really going to move that needle? And in our businesses, for almost all of you that are watching this, hashtag replay, by the way, if you're watching this on replay, hashtag live if you're watching this live. For almost all of you who are watching this, I would say that the attention and the things that you avoid are all in the same. Like where you need to spend your attention is probably what you're avoiding. And what we need in most of us is more conversations. So today is one of the ways that we're tackling that particular one. I love inbound marketing, which means people coming to you. So this is kind of inbound on bling, right? Inbound on bling. So this is interactive marketing. And our basic interactive marketing is me saying, hey, drop live. I'm trying to get you to interact with me. So if you're here live, drop hashtag live. If you're here on replay, drop hashtag replay, right? I asked you, what is your major focus? What are you thinking about? We have 90 days, 89 days. It might even be 88 now. I don't know. But anyway, what are you going to focus on? We need to get very, very, very dialed in right now if we want to make a massive transformation in our business. And you can make massive, massive transformations in your business every 90 days. That's all it takes is 12 weeks of super focused energy. So if that's what you're all about, most of us, I would say, want to get 1% better every day. And if you were really, truly doing that, it would be a massive transformation in those 90 days. All right. So first one, if you don't know me, this is the first time you're watching, I'm super cheesy. I like to do acronyms and stuff like that. So today, acronym starting, if you're writing it down, identify your tools. So exploring interactive tools. I spent some time doing this the other day. Yes, I went down the rabbit hole. We can all go down the rabbit hole. I can give you a whole list if you're interested in interactive tools. I am not telling you to go down that rabbit hole. I'm not even telling you to ask me for the list. It's not that important. What you need to do is, again, attention, figure out what's going to work for you. And we're going to go over a couple of things. And if you stay till the end, the freebie is also a list of interactive content that you can create and some examples using it. So, all right. So identifying your tools, exploring interactive tools. There are a million and one things that you can do with this. And I'll talk as we go through about a couple of different ones. But what I would say more than anything is don't get a million and one. Focus on one or two tools that you can use that are easy, that you understand, that you don't have to put 100, more hours into. And if you're super geeky and dying to have some new ones, choose one new one, work on it in your free time, right? And figure out how to use it and then add it in. So exploring interactive tools. Identify which tools you're going to use. All right, nail your objectives. Again, let's go back. Where are you going to focus your attention? That's very important. Setting goals for interaction. If that is your number one goal, how are you going to make that happen? Hey, Olga. Hey, Melanie. How is everybody doing? Hashtag live if you guys want to say you're here. All right. So nail your objectives. So figure out what are SMART goals. Sometimes we say smarter goals and add some stuff onto there, but get those goals written out. Be very specific in what you want to do. Example, I want to grow my email list by 1,000 people by the end of this year. That is very specific, right? If I want to do that, how am I creating content to make that happen? What kind of engaging content am I going to do to make that happen? SMART goals. Data gathering. So if you want to know different things, right? If you're using your interactive content to gather data, if you're new, if you are pivoting, if you have a new idea for a new product, if you are writing a book and you want to crowdsource, what you want the title to be or something like that. There are a lot of different ways that data gathering is so powerful in interacting. So if you know me, I love podcasts. I am like a podcast addict, and my podcast app is called Podcast Addict, and it was the first one I tried, and I still use it because I love the name and because it was the first one I tried. Anyway, this morning I was listening to podcast, and they were into, I don't even remember which one it was. Sorry, I should always give kudos to people, but I never remember. So this morning I listened to them on like 1.5 and on like high speed, and I go through like 3 or 4 while I'm walking Mahi. So this morning I was listening to one, and the guy was interviewing this woman who, she was super high achiever, but she owned a dog training business, right? And you're like, how can this associate or relate to me? Well, a lot of people are not coaches, right? I used to work with a lot of brick and mortars, and different companies, different businesses. Oh, will this work for me? Yes, 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 yes. Marketing is for every single business. I don't care what type of business you have. So anyway, just to give you a different perspective, she owned a dog walking company, not dog walking, a training company. And so what she did was she got a new puppy, and then she crowdsourced. She got everybody involved in naming the puppy. She got everybody involved in the entire puppy's life so that they could follow that puppy into, obedience or whatever it was that she trained in. And she said it was powerful. She would be walking down the street and people would stop and want to talk to the dog. And the dog was not, I think maybe he was not being trained to be a house pet. And she would be like, no, 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 because they all felt like they knew the dog. How powerful is that? They wanted to go right up and pet that dog because they felt like they knew the dog already just from her content. You want to do the same. So data gathering can be used to engage your audience, to bring them in, to build that know, like, and trust. Not even not necessarily just because you want to gather data, although it's super powerful for that too, right? Hey, what are the next topics that you guys want to talk about? I might do this later today. What's the next topic you want to talk about, A or B? All right, enhancing learning experiences. Interactive content keeps people engaged. So a while, I would say probably 10 years ago, gamification started coming into our scene. And I do not know why. It's still not that used. And I have a system from a long time ago. I don't use it because they don't keep up with it, but it was amazing for courses because it had all of this gamification in it. The platform I have now has gamification, but I have to kind of create it into it, which, if you work on my platform, I obviously will help you do that. But create it into what you're doing. It doesn't matter, but that enhances learning experience. That is interactive, right? They do something, you do something back. That's interactive. So the whole deal with interactive is to get that, back and forth going on. So what if you want people to spend more time on your site or on your videos? So this is one that I thought was really, really, this was my rabbit hole, more or less, was this video thing. I was like, oh God. Again, a long time ago, I had software that was, like create your story type software, but it was difficult to figure out like really how to bring it in and use it. Now I know, but this was, 10 years ago. Like I didn't understand as much about how to kind of move it all together. But anyway, now I don't even remember what that software was. I don't have it anymore. I'm sure I've changed computers and online, storage, whatever, a million times since then. And now, so I started looking it up and I'm like, crap, it is really expensive to get some of that software. It's really expensive. So I started trying to think of other ways to do it. So if this is one of yours, this is a rabbit hole that I definitely went down. What's up, Elizabeth? This is a rabbit hole that I went down because I think this is so cool. So for example, I just saw Elizabeth pop on, right? And Elizabeth does training focused on nutrition more than anything, healing. Elizabeth, type it in there, whatever you do. Everybody else that's on here, feel free to type in exactly what you do. But so Elizabeth, a lot of times will work with elderly people who need like shoulders. Like I had this, I don't want to consider myself elderly, but I had this shoulder pain and I worked with Elizabeth, and literally the time before that I had it, it was there for probably a year and a half. I got it again and I was afraid to do anything. And I worked with Elizabeth and she showed me a couple of moves. And honestly, it went away that day and it hasn't come back. Incredible. So she works a lot of people with pain. So for example, if she created a video, what if she could put up an interactive video that said, you know, are you experiencing pain, or do you no? Put in there what you do. Are you experiencing pain, or do you want to, do you need to heal? Magical healing. All right, so do you need to heal? Are you experiencing pain? How could I split it up? Give me two that you would do. How about this? How about this? Are you experiencing pain? Do you believe in magic? Oh, okay, that might be a strange one. But anyway, whatever, you can figure it out. Like, so for me, I could say, are you just starting out your business, or do you already have your business going on? I was trying to think of two different things so that we could do like a, you know, one of those videos or one of those choose your story. I've seen one on Netflix before, like one in all of Netflix. I don't understand why people don't do this. It's like a choose your story. So if somebody clicks this, then it can go to another thing. All right. So anyway, I'm not going to stay on here for forever, but it's kind of cool, right? If I could say, are you just starting out? Or are you already, you know, do you already have clients? Or are you over 15,000? Or are you between 5 and 10,000, you know, a month, something like that, right? So, and then it would take them down different paths. If you own a clothing thing, you know, men or women, that's an easy one. Casual evening. Anyway, point of this is it's expensive to do the videos. So I was trying to figure out other ways, and my rabbit hole took me to YouTube University. And YouTube is a great way to be able to do it. It's not as cool as this, but you know how at the end of your YouTube videos, you can do the, should have written this down. I can't think of what it's called right now, but you can actually do like a thing at the end of your videos. And that way they can kind of choose their story. It's like the end links. I forget what it's called, but you could put up like two different videos and let them choose their story, and it would take them on a different route. And then at the end of that video, you could do two. So it's not at the beginning of the video, but at the end of the video. That would be kind of a very cool, free way to do it, which I want to get into YouTube. So I might try. I like that idea. Obviously, people, that's what those things are for to begin with, to get you to go down the rabbit hole on the trail that they want you to go on. Yeah, pain, mindset, and nutrition. Okay. All right, we're going on. We're going on. All right. Target audience engagement. INT, right? Target. So understanding your audience's preferences, psychographics, demographics, and I wrote segments here because you can segment your audience into different things. Some people get into this, some people don't. the benefit of getting into this is obviously huge. And, men and women is an easy one if you're doing clothing, right? Maybe that's an easy one. But in my business, I don't necessarily care if somebody's a man or a woman, but I could segment them based on where they're at in their customer journey. I could segment them on, where they're at in their business. I could segment them based on location. So why would that be important? Well, sometimes there's different verbiage that you might use or references that you might use in different locations. And that would be really cool, right? If all of a sudden you wanted to do something based on location. So that could be a segment. You could segment based on how they came into your world. Because if you have one freebie, then everybody comes in through that one freebie. But what if you've got 10 freebies? And hey, Stephen, what if you have 10 different freebies and people come in different, and I mean like a lead magnet, right? So I have a one that I'm giving at the end of this, right? Is a content ideas for interactive content and examples. I have a branding quiz, like authentic personal branding quiz. So if I know that you came in under authentic personal branding quiz, if I know that you came in under that, I know you're interested in personal branding, which is something that I talk about a lot, right? If you came in under the interactive content, I know that you're interested in improving your content, right? So different things, I might be able to target you in different ways. This gets a little bit complicated, a little bit more up there, maybe advanced, and maybe when you have more team, that's a little bit easier. But either way, things to keep in mind, you could still do it. Another thing is audience preferences. So a lot of my audience is around my age. So I could use references that my audience would understand, like music from my time, or things that happened when we were kids. So you'll see a lot of people around my age. They'll talk about staying home alone or that type of thing, or being very independent. We're very independent. And why is that? Because we were the first, what do they call them, latchkey kids, right? So we're very independent. We were very a lot of million different things. But if I mention them, my external people would all recognize it and feel like they were seen and heard, like I was speaking directly to them. So that is very important, target audience engagement and calling people out. So if I just said, hey, coaches, that's target audience engagement. I'm calling you out. That's easy, right? If I said, hey, anybody here from Austin, Texas, Dallas, Texas, that's calling people out. Who are my Atlanta, Georgia people? Who are my people here from UK? What if you called people out like that? And you can segment people by different things. Okay, moving on. All right, who is Erica Leary? So I think most of you that are on here already know me, but I'll go through this really quickly for the replayers. Hashtag replay if you're watching on replay. This is just some of the places I've been and people I've met and seen along the way. I've been doing this since 2007. I started out digital marketing agency, a lot of brick and mortar. It was super fun, working a lot more in the profit gaps where they could make more money in their businesses, a lot more detailed into their businesses than what I do now, because there's just so many more aspects of a business when you are a brick and mortar. And I loved that. And I still love it. I still do that. But I now work mainly with coaches, helping them grow their businesses through personal branding, through getting their messaging out there, making sure that they stand out for who they are and being different, and making sure that somebody else knows exactly who they are and what they're all about and can repeat it. All right. So again, just some stages I've been on and some people I've met along the way. And you all should be keeping this. Sometimes it's hard for us to kind of give kudos to ourselves, but and I did not do this at all, ever. Like this just happened to be other people taking pictures that sent this one on the left with Kim Walsh Phillips. I did post for that. But I ended up doing a mastermind in her house after this, which was amazing. Just a couple of people. Anyway, so take your pictures. I never did. There's a lot that I've done that I never took pictures of, a lot of conferences that I went on, a lot of things that I did. So take your pictures. Don't worry about it. All right. Moving on. Who can guess our acronym for the day? Drop it down below if you know it. We are at INTE. INTE. So experiment with formats. Experiment with formats. What does that mean? That means you could do a quiz. You could do an infographic, and they have interactive infographics now. Ooh. Live presentations, right? You can have people chatting you in there. You can have you ever done like a live video where people jump on the video with you? So some of you know I have another business, and it's a small language school. And I TikToked for a while until I got like so bored of it. But for that school, I TikToked for a while. And what I would do is I would jump on and I would have like a teaching topic. And then I got a ton of people that would come on live stream, you know, like you guys in the audience. And then I would have somebody come up with me and practice. It was so fun, and they loved it. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, I got busy with a lot of other things, including this and whatever. Whatever you want to do, there's a lot of different, but that's interactive, right? You can bring people right up there with you. So think of different formats that you can put your stuff in. In a minute, you'll see a picture, but oh God, AR, active, what is it called? AR, active reality? No. Virtual VR, virtual reality. Anyway, that would be really cool, right? Again, I have another piece of software where you can like walk through an office and then stop in a conference room and watch a training. It's really good for inside companies and stuff, but again, I don't use it that much, but it's really cool. You can play with it, you can try it. Try different things, see what's good for you, see what's good with your audience, what really works, and how you're going to use it. Are you really going to do it? Doing the animated videos, taking people through stories throughout your video, that's super cool. All right, so experiment with different formats. Keep in mind, time, energy, focus, right? Money. You need to keep all of this in mind. If you are a one-man show, don't spend a ton of money. Well, if you have the money, go for the money. But if you don't spend a ton of your time on this, is where I was going with this. Oh, and Canva has a lot of different tools that you can use now. Canva has a lot of different stuff that you can use now. So explore Canva. It's, you know, free or very, very, very low cost. Real-time data utilization. I jumped into this earlier, leveraging interaction data. So I jumped into this earlier with polls and quizzes online, right? That is awesome way to get people's feedback. I don't know why my hands is up, but it's driving me crazy. Hold on. I don't see my reactions. Lower hand. All right. You know, when you wave your hands now on Zoom, your hand goes up. Anyway, leveraging interaction data. So I wonder if I should have said interactive. Seems like that would have sounded better, but nobody cares. All right, real-time data utilization. So how can you use what you're bringing in? If you run a poll on LinkedIn, for example, maybe you're asking people where their biggest problems are. How can you use that? Well, you can run a webinar about it next. You can build a product about it. You can do some lives. You can, you know, dive in a little bit deeper. Whatever. If you, like I said before, the book, I had a friend that wrote a book and got everybody involved in the book title. Then she got them involved in the book cover. I forget what else she did, but the whole way as she was writing this book until it was published. And then there were so many people invested in her journey of writing this book, everybody bought it. Can you see how that's leveraging your interaction data? She's using the data to choose the stuff that the people chose, but she's also reeling them in. Reeling them in sounds like you're doing something devious, but you know what I mean, interacting with them and bringing them into her world, which is awesome. Sort of like the dog that I talked about this morning. All right, real-time data. All right, we're at INTER. Who can guess it? Drop it down below. Hey, you don't know by now, I'm scared. All right, amplify reach. So promoting interactive content, promote your stuff. Promote your stuff. This is one of the areas where a lot of us fall short. If you're going to put the time and energy, attention, effort, money into something, promote it. Tell people, hey, I created this, especially if you're going to spend some time creating, you know, the interactive videos or the, or like some of those infographics. Have you seen the interactive infographics? Those are really cool. I mean, if you're going to spend the time, promote the heck out of that thing. So promote your live interactions. This, for example, I don't do an amazing job of promoting this, and this is a great space for interaction. People can jump in and chat back with me. When we're done with this, I'm going to post something in the group, place where people can interact. You know, I don't do a great job of doing all that. And, you know, I always tell you what I'm working on. So this is what you need to be working on too. It's powerful, very, very, very powerful to get people involved and virtual reality. So cool. All right, continuous improvement. Iterative improvement process. I left that there just because I think it's fun to say. But all that means basically is if you created a piece of interactive content, put it out there, right? Put it out there. Then you can make it better. But maybe it starts as example. Maybe you start with an infographic and your interaction is just asking, you know, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 that was better? Maybe that was your interaction. Then maybe you actually make it clickable. And each piece of that, you know, pulls up something, you know. Then maybe each piece of that pulls up a video that, you know, you can improve on something once you get it up there. Continuous improvement. But the idea is get it out there first. Don't sit on it until it's at Z. You know, put it out there on A. Just get it out there. Get it out there. Get it out there. And you'll start getting more ideas. Your people will give you more ideas. That one piece of content might evolve over time into this mammoth. You never know. But at the beginning, just get it out there. Because when you first put stuff out there, it's like going viral. Some people say that they know the hack on going viral, but really, I mean, you know, there are tips and tricks that you can follow. But in the end, it's people. You cannot predict how everybody is going to react, what they're going to think. Right? So you can use educated knowledge instead of guessing, right? Educated knowledge to put great stuff out there. But in the end, let the people decide. In the end, let them tell you that was a great piece of content. Now you know, let me spend more time on that. You might put a piece of content out there and then add stuff to it. For example, some of these, the ones that go really, really well, I can add a workbook, you know, added videos. I could add a lot of stuff to this and make it a paid product for these little masterclasses that I do every Thursday. If you're not already signed up for these, go to elevateandengage.com and you can actually sign up and you'll get the reminders every week. Again, sometimes I forget to update them. So even if it's not up, you'll still get the reminders for the new one. So don't stress yourself out about it. It might say the old topic, but it's the new one. All right. Test and tweak. And why did I do these two things separately? I'll tell you two reasons. One is because I needed a tea. Honesty, right? And the other is because I think that you can make one thing better, but you can also test against other things. Maybe you did an infographic and a quiz on the same topic. Which one of those is resonating more? If you see that that quiz is resonating more than that infographic, and it took you 80 hours to make that infographic and 3 to make the quiz, well, obviously you're all in on that quiz. And maybe those infographics are for when you have bigger teams. So test and tweak. You want to see what's really hitting with your people, and then testing against other topics, other formats. So the last one, iterative, was making that one better and better and better. But now what I'm talking about is, to make it different, of course, is testing it against other things, other topics, other headlines, other hooks, whatever it is, just test it and see what resonates with your audience the most. Every single thing that you do online should be intentional, right? You intentionally want to bring people in to your world that you can help, that want to be helped, that you can help shine and thrive, or however you want to say it. And you want to make sure that you tie in everything. I say this a lot, and I know that some people disagree with this, but this is my philosophy. Whatever you put online, you should be able to tie it back to your messaging, to your pillars, to what it is that you're doing. And so when you put that post out about, example, if I put a post out about broccoli, I'm a business coach. What does that have to do with, anything? Can I make it? Can I connect it? Absolutely, I can. I can think of a million ways I can connect it, and how it would resonate with most of my audience, because most of my audience is interested in getting 1% better every day. They're interested in optimizing more than just their business. They're interested in optimizing different parts of their lives. And so if I can say, hey, I'm working on optimizing my little chunky body, then maybe somebody else can resonate with that who's running their own business. So make sure that if you put it out there, you have a reason to put it out there, a reason to want to do it. So when you're testing and tweaking, think about and iterating. Think about what it is that you're doing that about. If it's a cat video, don't iterate it, don't test and tweak it, just remove it. Unless you're, a pet owning shop or a cat trainer or something, right? So make sure that it is shining for the reason that you want it to shine. Example, if I put my picture of a broccoli out there, I connect the dots to my audience, but I realize that it's like suddenly gone viral for, people that aren't interested in business, then maybe I need to, put something on there later that says, as coaches, are you, upping your game or whatever, what I'm saying. All right. So see what resonates most with your audience. Make sure you're always tweaking, always thinking of new ideas, asking them, right? Innovating, always be innovating. All right, here's the framework. Interact if you want to take a picture, identify your tools, nail your objectives. This goes back to always knowing what your intention is, right? Be very intentional about everything you do. So if you're a geek like me, this identify your tools phase, you could go down rabbit trails. You could have 86 pieces of software on your computer, like I used to. I don't do it anymore, but I want to caution you you want to be innovating. So I'm not going to say don't do it. I'm just going to say dedicate time in your free time to doing it. Dedicate that free time to doing it. Don't do it during your work time, right? All right, now your objectives. Target audience engagement. That's what it's all about. This is what it's all about. Make sure it's your target audience that is engaging and not your audience, right? Experiment with different formats. What's really resonating? What's not? Real-time data. the different ways that we can use it. Remember, I told you, you can use it to improve what you're doing, to start something new, to just, gauge your audience. What are their problems? What, why did they start their bit? Whatever it is, you can use that data, but you can also use it to bring them into your world. Amplify reach, tell the world. Don't keep making stuff and leaving it on your computer or putting it out there and then not promoting it. So promote, promote, promote. Continuously improve it and then test and tweak, see what's working, what's not, and pit them against each other so that you know where to really spend that time, attention, money. All right, that is it. Workshops. Tomorrow, we have our success blueprint. Next Friday, we're doing content calendar, and we're doing 30 days of content. And October 18th, we're doing power up profiles. If you're interested in any of these, DM me. These are for my clients, but I am offering them for a very small price for anybody outside. So if you're interested in them, DM me and I will give you the deets. All right. Content that speaks to your audience, powerful. Content that lets them speak back, unstoppable. Right? So your message is powerful. It's important and it is a lot. But if you can get them to speak back to you, and it is not as easy as you think it is, do not let it be like the be it end all either, especially depending on your industry. If you're in an industry where, example, one of my clients does trauma. If you're in a trauma industry and you're asking like a really personal type thing, a lot of people may not interact with you because they don't want other people to see it, right? So maybe they'll hit your DMs, but maybe they're not going to be interacting. It doesn't mean it's not powerful. So just, be cognizant. Just keep in mind your topic when you're thinking, why is nobody speaking back to me? Number one. Number two, out of 100 people, only one's going to speak back anyway. So don't go out there and think 1 million people are going to see your stuff and speak back to you. They're not, right? But the more consistent you get, the more they see you show up, the more they're going to start speaking back to you, again, depending on that topic. So keep putting it out there. The more you can get them to speak back to you, unstoppable. All right. Next one. So next week on Elevate and Engage, effective time management for content creators, coaches, entrepreneurs, you, right? The reason I say content creators is because the time management is a lot about our content. But this is one of my favorite topics because it's one of the hardest things for me too. So next week, every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern for UK time. And last thing, we're almost done. Empty calendar to fully booked. This is our workshop coming up. Supercharge content and convert clients. It is on October 9th. If you're not signed up already, drop me a message underneath this video or in the DMs. And I don't think I added it to here, but the freebie was a list of content ideas that you can use to make it interactive with examples, just to get those juices flowing. So if you want that, just write interactive below and I will send that right over. So thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Elevate and Engage. If you have some topics that you'd love for me to talk about, cover, drop them down below. If you have some ideas, anything, let me know. And if you want that freebie, drop interact. If you haven't been to Elevate and Engage to sign up, elevateandengage.com. Workshops, drop workshop or DM me. Have an amazing day. 80